Pledge of Allegiance, flags in the back. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks for coming out, everybody. Thanks for coming out. And thanks for the Harson's Island Lions for letting us use the hall for our meeting.
Is your mic on, Hardy?
Mine is. We okay there, John? Yep. we're
Everybody
okay.
hear us all right?
So yeah, it's always a pleasure to take our show on the road over to Harson's Island. We always get a good attendance, and we appreciate that. So, thank you. Roll call, please.
Karen Straffen? Here. Excuse me, Tom Fetter?
Here.
Tom Kruger?
Here.
Artie Bryson?
Here.
Cindy Valentine, here. John Horvath?
Here.
Joanne Shirkey?
Here.
Okay, everyone's here, counted and present for. First thing on the agenda, we have 3 public hearings. Just so everyone knows, our police, fire, and our garbage is all special assessments, and every year we have to have a special meeting or a public meeting. And then we vote as a board to renew them. We're not doing any changes on the police and fire. I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing for police.
So moved. Support.
Okay, with this, all in favor of opening up the public hearing for police at 7:32, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So we're going to open up public hearing for the police millage. If anyone wants to address it or the board on it, it is 4.35 mils, and it's been the same for 4.35 mils for a long time. I'm not sure how long. It's been that way for quite a few years. So, anyone any comments on police millage? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public
Make a
hearing.
motion to close the public hearing at 7:33.
Support. Okay, all in favor of closing the public hearing for police millage, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for fire, for the fire millage at 7:34. Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposes? Okay, I'll open up the public meeting for our fire millage at this time. Anyone wants to say anything? It is at 1.625 mils. And actually, the island's actually seen a drop from about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, the island's at 1.75. And now the whole township itself is 1.625, so. Any public comments on the fire?
Make a
Seeing none.
motion to close the public hearing at whatever it is, 7:36 for fire.
Support.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have a public hearing on our garbage.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for the garbage and refuse special assessment at, at
7:37.
7:37.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey, anyone opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll open up for public comment on our garbage. What we're doing with the garbage, actually we, as everyone probably realizes, we had an increase last year because we started curbside recycling. And last year it was because we didn't start the curbside recycling until a quarter into the year. We started in April. Instead, normally it works out to be $35 a year per resident, but we only charged $25 last year because it started in April. So this year the actual charge would be $35, and so the whole garbage special assessment will be $172 per garbage stop on Harson's Island and Elginak. All the out islands, we froze a few years ago. They're at $120 a year. We froze those because quite frankly, if we rose it, or if we raised it, they would have a case to go to the tax tribunal and probably win, because the service they're getting isn't equal to what we're getting where we have road access. And also, Russell Island isn't getting curbside recycling, so they're not charged for the $35 for that. So we actually have 3 separate charges in the township for garbage. So, any public comments on, for our garbage, our refuge village? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close it.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we got that over with, all those formalities. Bills payable.
Make a motion to approve the bills payable in the amount of $172,438.98.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any question or comments? No? Going once?
I got a comment or a question. I'd like, in the garbage and rubbish collection fund, we have the contractual refuse payments, and we also have the tipping fees. And what we did is we changed it last time around where we would pay our own tipping fees.
Right.
How is that going for us?
Well, I only have 2 months to track it.
Well,
So it's a little early to tell, but it's, I believe we're below a budget on, we're right on budget as far as the contractual payments, and we're a little below budget for the tipping fees. This last month, it was 11,000.
right. Well, I think that since we're recycling so much more now, that the tipping fees are going down, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
well, that's a theory, yeah.
And we've got excellent participation in the recycling program, too.
Getting better all the time.
Yep. If you guys don't have a bin, go and get one.
Just like to remind everybody, the more we recycle as a township, it saves the township money. If we can recycle 20% of our trash, I can't remember if it was 32 or 38,000 we'd save in tipping fees, but it's in the mid-30s we'd save in tipping fees as a township a year. There's a lot of unknowns with our guy, and I'll talk about it when we get into that, but there's some unknowns that we know about the garbage, but you know, next year we may even be able to lower our garbage rate a little bit, or build up a equity or a fund balance in it. So,
Can I ask a question? Al Cadet for the recycling yard waste.
Or did we get any more recycling bins?
hang on, we got a question
Can you
here.
talk up, Karen, a little bit, so,
Al Cadet for the July man hours for $1,300. Isn't that a little higher than it's been normal?
That's the yard waste. I haven't seen the bill, but
Because there was 5 weeks in
there's
July.
5 weeks.
I think we had some extra.
Might be under A or K, I don't know. I believe it's for 5 weeks. The rate's still the same, $13 a man hour.
Move on to John's question while
We did get some, and we're just about done, and I sent him an email this morning saying that we need more recycle bins.
Thank you.
could have drug that out a little longer.
get back to you on that? Okay, we'll get back to her on that. I know the hourly rates still stay the same, so.
Yeah, you gotta remember during this time period, June, July, August, and into September, those are our biggest months for everything. Garbage, anything garbage related, our biggest months. Everybody's up here, they're cleaning up their yard, they're throwing the stuff away, they're, you know, holiday weekends, the refuse is ridiculous. So, our bills are gonna be higher in the summer. We don't have a whole a year or something, a track record to go by, so.
2 months. So.
Yeah, it's kinda, you know, we can't really, don't have a good track record yet.
All right, we have motion and support for the bills payable. Roll call vote, please.
Tom Fetter,
Yes.
Tom Kruger,
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John Horvath,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Karen Straffen.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, this time we have public comments relating to anything on the agenda. We will have a public comments for anything you wish afterwards, but this is for public comments, anything on the agenda. Seeing none, moving right along into the consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the board meeting of August 3rd, 2015, and the synopsis, the reports from the police department, the police raft-off statistics, the fire department raft-off statistics, building department and code enforcement, communications from Road Watch report, and the St. Clair County MTA chapter meeting, and voting access for individuals with disabilities. That's to buy, Cindy, was that to buy some?
That was a grant we applied for. It's a reimbursement grant for the state of Michigan so that we can have handicap accessible voting
Right.
booths, which we don't currently have, so.
Yeah. And that's it?
Okay, you have a second?
Support?
Okay, a motion and support. Everyone good with the consent agenda?
I have a couple corrections to the minutes. On the synopsis, I was left off, but in the regular minutes, I am listed as present
Okay. We just need to add you on the synopsis.
on the synopsis.
Sorry about that.
And then on page 2 of the regular minutes, the full minutes, there was on number 3, motion by Kruger, supported by Horvath, to approve purchase of a new recording system for $11,256, but it doesn't say for recording for what.
Oh, that's the phone recording
It's
for
the
the
police
The police,
department.
yeah.
Should that be, I think
can add
that
that
should
on
be added into
Yeah.
that. And then on the last page, in public comments, the first man that spoke was Brian Collins, not Carson's,
Okay.
Collins. Okay, that's it.
Where'd he go?
Where is he?
Now you need to spell your name.
I also want to give kudos to Cindy. She applied to the state of Michigan, what was it, 1,700 or 1,900 for those voting machine? Yes.
1,200.
1,200. She obtained a grant for handicap voting booths, which we didn't have as a township, so kudos to Cindy. All right, anything else? We have motion and support. All in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
There's your vote, Fred.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it looks like the 36. Yeah. Yeah, we were there actually 2 days in July. Anyhow, supervisor's report, highlight of everyone's. I just want to reiterate to everyone in this room, the Clay Township Fire Department was awarded a FEMA SAFER grant of $691,980. And this is going towards labor. We'll be actually talking a little bit about it later tonight. But what this does is affording us to have 2 men on the island 24 hours a day at our fire department on the island. That's huge for us here. And I want to thank Daryl and Mike Olderman. They did a great job of writing that grant. Where did Mike go?
Mike's back there.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mike, on that. It's a no-match grant. In other words, it's 100% funded. And actually, you know how it does work. They pre-fund it. They give us money, and then we can draw on that. So I am looking for someone to fill. I have a vacancy on the ZBA. Once we appointed Joanne, she was on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I do have a vacancy on that. We do have one, actually, I might even have a second person applying. It hasn't applied yet. Let's talk about roads for 3 hours now. As everyone knows, you know, the county did some road work on the island. It wasn't a very good job. I had several meetings with the county road people, the contractors. Then I had another meeting with, actually this Thursday, I think it was, with the county road and representative MDOT. Everyone agrees that, you know, the job wasn't done that, or it was a rotten job. Two problems that I can see. The contract called for just about all the stone that was delivered by the ferry to be put on the roads, and only about half of it. They delivered about 4,000 yards, and about not even half of it made it on our roads. So the layer of the stone was thin. They put tar down, then the chip stone, and that's part of the reason I think the tar bubbled up through when it got hot. And then the last layer, they call it a fogging. It's supposed to seal it. That I believe there was 2 issues with that. It wasn't mixed up correctly, and it has a pot life. It's got to be laid down between 170 and 140 degrees. And this company had it made just on the other side of the Michigan-Ohio border. And by the time it got here, it was cooler than 140 degrees before a lot of it was put down, so it didn't seal properly. Now, we're going to get engineering reports to specifically see what sections that happened to. And I'm pretty confident it's going to be addressed. All these contracts, they're let out on boilerplate MDOT contract language. This one was, and all over the state. There was a job up in Huron County, a chip seal job, similar to this one. It wasn't a good job. MDOT got involved. They forced the contractor to come back and do what's called a micro seal on top of the old chip seal. And that is definitely a better road surface, and it's not cheap. The contractor's going to have to eat the cost of it. I think it goes up to about $3 a yard, which, you know, you do big roads, that's not cheap. And Kurt Weston, our county director of our county roads, went up there to see the job, and he said, this job here is a lot worse than that one. And MDOT made him redo that. MDOT was here a couple times. The contractor, I got a meeting with them tomorrow. They're going to come back tomorrow. And more than likely, they're going to have to come back and micro seal the roads. There's a advantage of it. It's a harder surface. It's a smoother surface. I'm told what it is. I've never seen it in person. I'm told what it is. It's a mixture of sand, concrete, and tar. And they put on top. And disadvantage is harder, but you know, 10 years from now, it will crack up. It will crack sooner than maybe chip seal's more flexible. But asphalt, you know, asphalt cracks, cement cracks, and eventually this may crack too. But I'm told everything, it's a good fix for this, and that's what we're working on. Now, I know there's a number probably still have tar on their cars. We have posted, the contractor has taken care of a lot of the cleaning bills, and I'm waiting to them. I'll know more after I meet with them tomorrow, is how many people actually registered problems with it, and they're going to bring some detailers on the island to remove the tar off of our cars. And that was one important thing when we met with them last week. I myself met with the contractor and the county road, and then I had some representatives of the Harson Sound St. Clair Flats Association. That was an important thing for everyone that has tar on their car. So we know it's not a good job, and we're trying to make it right. Let's see, more on roads. I petitioned MDOT on M29 by the Colony Tower. The no passing zone going towards the city basically ended at Audubon. And that's a nasty turn there, and if there's an accident, and Chief will tell you, and so will Daryl, if there's an accident out there, it's not a pretty one. And they extended the no passing lines all the way past Flamingo, past the apartments there. They already did the lines. Pretty soon they're going to move the signage too. So I'm hoping that will make that a little safer corner, and hopefully we'll save a life or two down the road. Also, we are, the corner of Nook and Field, it's a two-way stop now. Field going from east to west does not have to stop. That's soon going to be a three-way stop. Want to tell everyone and the board too, we've completed our job segregation that our auditors and actually by state statute internally between the clerks and the treasurer's position. For ever since Clay Township existed, they were kind of flip-flopped the responsibilities and the jobs, and we got it segregated, and we're trying to work out the kinks, right? Getting there. So that has been completed. Been doing a lot of facilitating with the Crispin Drain. Due to the high water, we had to modify a lot of the DEQ permits and the area of impact on the project. We're looking at starting on-site operations August 24th. And I'm sure everyone's seen the two machines over on the mainland by the ferry. They look pretty cool, don't they? And those are basically amphibious dump trucks, 20-yard dump trucks. And next couple days, there's going to be two amphibious excavators showing up. And they're going to start in the DNR first and make their way this way. Okay, received word from Semco that the fire pit we want to put in the Township Park, they gave us a grant. They're giving us free tap-in and running the gas line to it free. It's about a $2,500 savings. Been receiving a lot of complaints about our garbage pickup in Emterra. They've been missing a lot of pickups. If they do miss your house, give me a call. I forward it on, and for the most part, they correct them, but you know, some days they miss a road here, then they pick it and they miss it there, and my patience is growing thin with them. I did mention to them I'm this close about breaking the contract and buying a couple garbage trucks ourselves, and having our water department do it. Not out of the question. We had facilitated the removal of a large houseboat over at Decker's Landing. It was sinking. It was a derelict vessel, negative value. How big was that? 70 foot, 75 foot? It was big.
At least in the 50s.
Yeah, 60 foot. It was fiberglass, and before a few years it was sitting on the bottom, but now the water's up. And it was leaking oil, and finally we had to get the Marines the Sheriff Marine Patrol involved and U.S. Coast Guard, but that was a real pain down at Deckers, and we facilitated the removal of that. Want to make a brief mention about Raft Off. 2 weeks ago, here in Muscatine Bay, it was very busy. First, the police, it was in their report, we had a regular police patrol, plus we had a Stone Garden grant car. Our regular, let's see, our regular car did 10 traffic stops, 3 tickets. We arrested 5 with our regular patrol. MDO, malicious destruction, 1 malicious destruction of property, 3 for drunk driving, and 1 had an outstanding warrant. Our grant car issued 4 tickets and had 6 arrests, 2 drunk driving, 2 MIPs, and actually 4 MIPs. And then we had 3 state police cars between here and the mainland, and we don't have those, actually we do. They had 4 arrests, 20 stops, right, Chief?
24 stops, couple
Okay.
tickets, and 4 misdemeanors.
All right. And the fire department was also very busy. They did a total of 25 medical runs. We did 11 transports to the hospital, and actually 10 transports, right, Daryl? That's actually down, usually around 20. And for some reason, that was cut in half. We did have to transport some, actually the sheriff department transported 1 person that was left behind. Tri-Hospital transported a person, and we transported 4 or 5 people. We do get cost recovery. We can recoup the cost of that from our cost recovery ordinance. There was actually 3 people from Nebraska that were here staying in a hotel at Troy. Kind of stuck up a creek without a paddle, so to speak. And then someone to Windsor Bridge and Ambassador Bridge. So, but they're all busy, and yes. See, upcoming events. Every Thursday in the Clay Township Park, from 3 to 6, we have Farmers Market. And also, every Thursday starting at 7 in the Township Park, we have the music in the park. This week we have Sun Messengers. Is a great, about an 8-9 piece band from Detroit. They've been around a long time. And also that night, I'm actually the Secretary Treasurer of the St. Clair County Township Association, and all our township supervisors of the county are gonna be there for it. So that should be fun. Turkey shoot, Labor Day weekend right here. All kinds of festivities. What day is the parade on?
Saturday.
Parade's on Saturday, and it goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah, the turkey shoot does.
So,
Not
Friday.
no,
No,
not
Friday,
Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah, I'm sorry, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Friday night, though, you have the dancing under the stars
Right,
usually,
yeah.
right?
I don't know if you can have that now.
No?
Okay,
Saturday and Sunday's music.
Saturday and Sunday's music.
Oh, okay.
So, let's see. September 13th is the Elginak Clay Antique Car Show in downtown Elginak in the River Park. Group Bluegrass Festival, Schoolhouse Grill, 22nd from 2 to 9. Kitchen Home Tour, Saturday 22nd from 10 to 2. Readers Cove benefits from that. It's a great organization and a great event. And I think, how long is the Prohibition exhibit behind the barrel going on at the museum? It's going on for a while. It's a pretty good exhibit if anyone wants to see it. So we have all kinds of fun things to do in Clay Township. It's hard to believe that summer's almost over. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you.
That's
You're
one of
welcome.
it's one of the non-fun things to do.
Yes, I know.
Listen to everything.
Listen to my report. Okay, new business. We have no old business. New business, police department, digital data maintenance renewal for 1875.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal of the digital data maintenance renewal system for the police department for $1,875.
You need a motion?
I got one motion.
Support.
Karen's doing one, too.
Can't hear down there.
We have support. You gotta speak louder, Karen, for this side of the. Okay, we have motion and support for 1875. Any discussion? What this is, it's the system that our pinpoints mapping. One great thing is someone calls 911 on a cell phone, we can pinpoint it pretty close, about 50 to 75 feet where they're calling from. And it comes in handy quite a bit for our dispatch. I must say, it's a lot better than the system that Central Dispatch has. Anyhow, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving right along, we have Police Department request to purchase a 2016 Interceptor car for the price of $27,545 and equipment of $5,954.35.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, any support?
Support.
And support. What this is, about 2 months ago, we had one of our cruisers get in an accident. It was one of the Tauruses, right, Chief?
Correct.
And our insurance gave us, totaled it and gave us a check for $13,695. So I think that's a heck of a deal for that car, 2 years old. It had one more year of life for us. So essentially, we're one car short in our fleet, and Chief's requesting that we buy this car. And we'll put the payment of $13,695, the insurance payment towards it, and then the rest of the $19,804 would come under, we probably have, because it's not a budget item, we probably have to amend our budget and take it out of the fund balance or find it somewhere else in the budget. As Chief pointed out, we do have well over $1 million in our police fund budget, and even after this, we still would. I think we're about 1.5.
You're gonna have to sell some vehicles so you got parking.
Yeah,
I know, Marty and I are gonna get together and
we're gonna have to have an
We're just
auction.
waiting for the two to be fixed.
Yeah,
We got the equipment in today.
we're gonna have to have we're gonna have, what, how many are you gonna have? 4 or 5?
Something like that.
4 or 5 police cars, and we're gonna have a truck from DPW. We'll be auctioning off probably in a couple months, hopefully. But if we do go ahead and do this, more than likely we'll be buying one less car next year. We're on pace to get either 2 or 3 new cars next year, depending on what IRA does. I assume they're gonna re-up because they did pass their millage. They're happy with us. They're citizens, and so this is for 2016 Ford Police Interceptor utility all-wheel vehicle for the price of $27,545. I wish I could buy one that cheap. Any discussion?
Support?
Okay, we have support.
Okay.
Hearing no more discussion, roll call vote, please.
Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John Horvath?
Yes?
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Karen Straffen?
Yes.
Tom Fetter?
Yes.
Tom Kruger?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Moving right along, Fire Department requests to purchase 2 Zoll pulse,
Auto pulse.
all auto pulse units. Cost of $3,350. Daryl, you want to explain what those are? Give the mic to Daryl.
The auto pulse is a board unit that we place under a patient that's in cardiac arrest. It has a strap that comes around and it does automated chest compressions. According to statistics, it increases the blood flow approximately 40% more than what you get with regular chest compressions. We had the opportunity in June to do a trial with one from Zoll for a month, and we got the opportunity to use it full arrest in the trailer park. After 29 minutes of automated CPR, she regained pulses. Unfortunately, at a later date, she had passed, but we were very impressed with 30 minutes of CPR. And our protocol calls for 30 minutes on scene, and then we call it, and we get a time of death from the doctor. We were very impressed with the units, so I'm looking to get one for here and one for mainland.
And if we bought, these are recertified.
These are recertified units, brand new, they're 14,000.
Right, brand new, they're 14,000 apiece. When you buy them new, they only come with a 1-year warranty. And you have to get them recertified. Looking at this,
The big price difference, the new ones, they sell with a lithium ion batteries at about $900 a piece, plus a $3,500 battery charger. Versus these come with a standard charger and nickel hydride batteries. So we're just gonna have to carry more batteries essentially.
the nickel hydride batteries, they are $170, no,
It's in the quote.
yeah,
Yeah.
4 batteries, $150 a piece.
It's just a battery pack that unclips, slides out, slide another one in.
Right. So I can see somewhere down the road replacing those as batteries go out. I was talking to Daryl, I don't see equipment like this being used so that it breaks, it doesn't get overused. It just, I don't know.
How often do they need to be recertified?
I'm imagining that they recertified it because they're reselling it. There's no protocol that you have to have it certified each year.
I mean, are we like mandated to buy batteries for it every year or
No,
two?
no,
or-
no,
Okay.
I think because it fails, then we do CPR.
correct.
Well, yeah.
And one advantage of this too, if you have this thing doing compressions in the ambulance, it frees up the hands of the paramedic to do other things.
Yeah, that it does.
Not only that, but it works downstairs and
Yeah.
Right, you can put somebody in a stair chair or in a
Right. chair,
as you're carrying them down the stairs, you still got circulation going on.
I really like the idea of it. The only problem that I have with it is the fact that under that line item, you only have a $9,000 budget. And, which remaining you only have $7,800 of, and if we pull another $3,350 out of it, do you anticipate having enough money in this line item to buy medical supplies for the rest of the budget year?
That's what I anticipate.
Okay. Would you be satisfied if we got you one of them instead of two?
Yes. Yeah, where would you like me to put it?
You want to see
I
if
got a little group of
you
people.
want to see if these people will be satisfied?
Get one this year, get one next year, we'll flip a coin.
Well, I don't know if it will be available if we'll find it.
I just, we have to watch our line items, Daryl, we have to watch our budget. And we've had difficulty in the past, and I just wanted to make sure that if we do
We did have
purchase these.
difficulties in the past because we
Yeah.
were underfunded,
Right.
as we spoke about
Well,
at the.
I mean, actually, this line
budget
item, you
hearing.
have less now than you had 2 years ago. So, I understand that. But I just don't wanna run out of money for medical supplies.
Well, I sure don't either. I think it's a tool that is warranted. If we run out of money in medical supplies, we'll come back to you and ask you to transfer some money out of a different line item. We'll make a line item adjustment. I believe, it's a good purchase. I don't feel like coming to the board with things that we don't need. I would like to purchase 2 of them. I don't think it would be the right thing to put one on one truck and have another truck, have to, another city wait for the unit to get there when we have 2 stations and basically 2 communities. We're one community, but we have 2 communities.
Do Ira and Algonac have these?
No. A lot of the cities around, further out use the unit, it's called Lucas. It's similar, it's got a cage that comes up over the top and it's a thumper that comes down.
I remember we talked about these, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago.
Yes, we did.
And
We did. At budget hearing.
We were
did.
looking to write a grant for it maybe? or-
Correct. That's how, as a matter of fact, I was writing a grant for a new one when I came across these 2 units.
Okay. Keep writing.
Oh, absolutely. We'll keep
All
writing.
right.
I'll get Mike on that. He's pretty good at it too.
Okay, any more discussion or questions for Daryl? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 Zoll Alto Pulse devices that are recertified for a cost of $3,350 plus shipping.
Support?
Okay, we have motion support. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, next we have is fire department repair request for the 3,000-gallon tanker. The problem is with this, I went for a ride with Daryl. To fix it, it's unknown as far as the cost. Did you get a
I
guesstimate?
talked to him today. What they want to do is they want to take it apart. They're going to give us a quote. What I'm looking for, he says he can't tell us
Can't tell us.
approximately. He doesn't know. I asked him, would I, be wrong by saying approximately $5,000? He said it could cost up to $5,000. I guess what I'm looking for from the board is maybe give us a number. When they get it apart, if they find that the kingpins in that rear axle are bad or the bushings are bad, and we come up with a dollar amount, can we go ahead and fix it without having to put it back together, wait 2 weeks to come back?
What it is, it's got 2 rear axles, and one of the rear axles steers. And what's going on when you're going down the road, the steering axle is moving back and forth. And so when you're driving this thing, it's all over the road. And you gotta compensate it, and everyone's scared to drive it as it is, especially when you got 3,000 gallons of water behind you. And the back of the truck is just dog walking right to left. Like Daryl was saying, we think it's a bushing issue on the axle, that bushings are loose and the tires are swaying back and forth, or the locking mechanism for the steering on it isn't locking correctly.
Correct.
And-
it locks going down the road at 18 mile an hour, it unlocks at 15 mile an hour.
Right.
So it's got movement in it. When you slow down, if you make a turn, you can literally see it in the mirror, you can see that the tires turn. So there's an issue, either the bushings are letting that axle move, or the locking mechanism wore out, but like I said, they need to get into it, so.
And the problem is they gotta get into it before we can get a price. And, are we gonna get into it, get a price and put it back together, then take it apart again, or, it's an issue. Like Daryl said, it could be $5,000, and I told him we'd bring it to the board.
Well, it's very difficult to deal with an unknown.
It is.
I mean, I don't have a problem with them getting an estimate, and if it's reasonable,
Well, do you wanna give him a price of not more than $5,000.
Daryl, what's that truck?
I don't have a problem with that, Art.
Okay,
We paid $167 for it, it's a 1997 Freightliner, got 18,000 miles on it, that thing's still like new. We're surprised, you know, that we're having this problem. Speaking with the repair facility, he wouldn't think that the bushings would be wear out, he's thinking kingpins, you know, but even at 18,000 miles, you know, and it's maintained all the time, there's gobs of grease under that truck, it gets greased all the time.
I'll make a motion to approve a repair up to $5,000 for a 1997 Freightliner 3,000-gallon tanker. And as part of that motion, I'd like Daryl to report back to Art Bryson as to what that amount is, and if it's more than that, then maybe we can,
have a special or.
something
do
to
a-
hurry it up, because
we
they
can do
won't
a-
leave it sit there for 2
I'll
weeks.
support
We
that.
have to act.
No, we have the ability to do emergency
Yeah.
with myself, a couple of trustees, and one of you guys. So, okay, we have motion and support for up to $5,000.
Is that, what line item? Would
It'd
that
be
be
vehicle repair.
vehicle maintenance?
Yeah,
Because we got 6,500 left in that line item. And then the rear springs are gonna be 2495, and the tires are gonna be 4,600, so we need to look at that line item in the next budget.
right.
I believe those dollar amounts on the budget are off from what we talked about at the budget hearing. I don't believe we had, I do not believe.
Yeah, we
that
had
we
a lot.
had 30, I think it's 30 in mandatory maintenance. Isn't
But
that
your
what it
budget's
is?
40.
Yeah, I think it's 40.
I think that's off. I could be wrong.
You think it should be 30 and 20 rather
What?
than 40 and 10?
I know it was off last year and we fixed that, but
Right.
now they changed all those numbers and line items and I believe it's off. I seen that myself and I just, I don't.
Because we got, yeah, I think,
Yeah, I mean,
I think
you
they're,
haven't spent any money in mandated equipment maintenance yet.
I think they're flip-flopped.
Yeah,
I think he's got 40 grand in vehicle maintenance and 10 grand in
I can go
mandated.
back and look at my notes.
And I think that's what happened last year.
Right, right, they're flip-flopped. So he's got 40,000 in that line item.
'Cause I-
And then we could get that changed.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, we do have a motion and support. Any more discussion?
When you
Very-
change those line items, do you do it, wait for 3 months or something to do it, or do we do it
Well, we'll see if it's a typo
immediately?
or not.
Yeah. Not wait till the, end of the year,
Why would you wanna wait though?
or, no, but in the past, has
Well,
happened.
this is not the past.
Well,
It's
that's
a
what,
different board.
I understand that, that's why I'm making that comment, that it will get taken care of, and if I'm busy,
Okay.
you're telling me yes, so.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Any motion carries. Okay, next we have a repair request on our 2005 pumper, and this will also go to Marysville Truck. Rear springs for $24.95, and then new tires for $46.60.
That's what makes me believe it's off because we budgeted for this.
Yes,
in the
I know,
Right.
I think they're flip-flop. Because these
If
we
we'd have
talked,
done that, we would have had no
That
maintenance.
was
So,
exactly.
Anyway,
And these are budgeted items.
as we talked about, that 05 that's sitting down on the snubs in the rear end, just from being loaded constantly. They're gonna change out just the rear springs, and then it's 10 years old, it's time to pull tires and put new tires on.
I'll make a motion that we approve $7,155 for the 2005 Peterbilt pumper for rear springs and tires.
support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, next, I wanted to have a discussion at the board level about going ALS transport. And essentially, I put a letter together that I want the board, or if the board wishes, to grant me authority to sign and send to the St. Clair County Medical Control Authority about going ALS transport. As you see, we have numbers that Daryl put together as far as what would be estimated, and maybe you can go over these, Daryl, about what would come back to our fire department for providing the ambulance services to our residents. And also, I do have an email that I asked our insurance company, our liability, what our premium, what it would go up to, if any, and basically said no change in the annual premium. So if we do start doing ALS transport, they just need to be notified. Because that was a concern of mine. You want to go over?
Yeah, okay, what I had turned in was a forecast from our billing agency, Acumed. They currently do our billing for us for the cost recovery that we do. In the past, when Ira Township was transporting, they did their billing. They currently do Armada, Roseville, Richmond, Lennox EMS, St. Clair Shores, and so on. They did this forecast for us. Basically, in a nutshell, what they're telling us is they're projecting a grand total billing of $653,795. They figure contractual write-offs are gonna be $100,961. And that gives us a grand total projected revenue of $387,739. They tell me that's conservative, this is. I spoke with a couple of the chiefs. They said when they had their forecast done, Acumed was pretty much right on the money for them. A agency that's real similar to ours would be Armada, as far as the amount of people they service. Their coverage area is much smaller. Land-based, we cover a lot of water also. They do a little less call volume than us. They currently transport, they have been for approximately, I believe, 4 years now. That's put them in the position, they have 6 full-time firefighters, their full-time chief. That's how they fund. They originally received a SAFER grant also. That's how they went full-time. Their ALS is how they fund after their SAFER runs out, and so on. So that's what I'm looking to do. While we're working under this SAFER grant, we will have this station staffed with an EMT and a paramedic, both firefighters also. The mainland will be staffed with 2 personnel, firefighter, EMT, medic, myself, and we have to, what we have to do under the terms of the grant, we have to staff how we were staffing previous to the grant. Meaning, we were staffing here during the week also, so we'll have that position also. So what I'm looking to do is if we go transport, it's gonna give us 2 years with full-time guys to see what kind of money we can make. We're already an ALS agency. The only thing we don't do for our people is drive them to the hospital now. We've been ALS for a year now. And the only thing we are not doing is transporting. When we treat a patient, they get loaded into Tri-Hospital's truck, we get the supplies back from them that we've used. We switch out the drug box that we used and so on. They do all the billing for what was done. They drive them, they make the money. I'm looking to make the money for us, and hopefully when, in the 2 years when this grant runs out, we're gonna keep our 2 full-time people here. We'll keep our 2 full-time over there and so on. And hopefully we do better than what they're projecting. If we're not doing what they're projecting at the end of the grant, we've made money. We're not having to shell any, startup costs out. We've done that already a year ago. I think this is an opportunity for us to see how our transport services would work. I mean, worst comes to worst. Ira Township did it for 3 years. They were successful in it. They got out of it when the economy started crashing. They were afraid it was gonna start costing their residents, and they didn't wanna have to come to them and ask for more money. So they decided not to transport anymore before they went into the red. And I guess that's essentially what I would do. When the grant runs out, if we're not running in the black, then we shut down our transporting and we go back to, non-transport ALS.
Daryl, how did you got grand total charges of $653,000 and contractual write-offs of $100,907. How do you get from the 653 to the 387 projected revenue? What's the difference there?
They did it, this is their forecast.
What do they charge us to handle?
10%.
10%, yes.
10%.
So that wouldn't be.
I think, do you have the second page?
Yeah?
Do you have those dollar amounts? Is that figured in there? I believe you need to take the total for the BLS runs, which is the 139.2.
Well,
If
that's
you're trying to
the charge.
subtract and add and all that, is that helping you any? That's my guess anyway.
What is BLS?
Basic life support. You would, where you're not using a advanced life support intervention on a patient,
Different rates.
different rates.
Do we do that now?
No.
No, we do not.
Daryl, can I ask you a few questions,
Yes.
please? Okay, I was talking to several of my cousins who happen to be firefighters, one in St. Clair Shores.
Okay.
And I asked him, number one, how old are our ambulances?
We have a 03 and a 97.
And, okay, now what do you figure the life is on the ambulances?
Tri-Hospital's running their trucks, they're putting, some of their trucks, I've seen them with 300,000 miles on them.
Okay,
The 97 is it's got the 7.3 diesel in it, and Richmond Lennox still is running a 7.3 diesel in one of their trucks. They've just sent it out for new boxes and such on them. The 97 that we currently have, I believe, has 22,000 miles on it, and the 03 has 52,000.
okay, now you think, you're looking at this as a moneymaker. In talking to several of these, the Grosse Points, East Point, and I believe, I know Sterling Heights, they got out of it because they were losing money.
A lot of them did. A lot of them are getting back into it again.
Okay, I know those aren't. Those were some I was checking. So you're thinking that we will not have any other startup costs? Our trucks are completely,
We've got everything on the trucks. The only thing we do not have is the license doesn't say transport on it.
I had,
I've got Mike Olderman, he retired out of Westland, and they were a transport agency. Mike, can you help me out here on what you know a little bit about it too?
Yeah, none of the cities that I worked around lost any money because of the transporting. They made money and that helped fund the fire department. And it helped the general fund budget also.
okay, I know
We
it's,
had 5 rescues and sometimes that wasn't even enough. We had to ask for our surrounding cities to help us.
okay, I know St. Clair Shores told me they don't make money. They just
I find
offset
that hard to
some.
believe.
I got that from the union people today. they just offset some of the firefighters' costs.
Spreads the overhead.
I guess it all depends on what they charge. If you look at the spreadsheet here, St. Clair Shores, their average recovery per run is $346. Armada's is $492. Are they not charging as much?
I
Or
don't know.
what are they
I
doing?
know they
I
make-
don't know that answer, but it shows here what, our Acumed does their billing for them, and so they know what their average per run rate is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know they said they make over 5,000 runs a year.
Okay.
Okay.
Not all of those will be EMS runs either, though. A lot of those will be fire runs where the fees would be different, if there weren't any fees.
He told me that these were EMS runs.
Okay.
Karen, also, you're looking at St. Clair Shores, their firefighters are probably making 65 to 70,000 a year, and my guys are making 35. So I would understand why they're not making any money.
I had several conversations with the supervisor at Armada. Actually, before we took the SAFER grant, because, they won the SAFER grant for about 200 and some, 212 or something.
224, I believe.
224. And after 2 years, they reapplied and they were refunded a second time. So I started initially talking to their supervisor about that, about the SAFER grant, and then about doing the transport. And I believe they've been doing it for 3-4 years, and they're happy with it. They said that it's offsetting costs. If they didn't do the transport, they would be charging the residents more for fire department services. So their transport ambulance service is actually subsidizing the fire department. If you got paramedics on call and they're not rushing anyone in the hospital, they can be putting out fires, in a nutshell.
Actually, the condition we're in right now, though, we don't need to subsidize the fire department. So if we were to do this, you're looking at how much a year? Is it 300?
Yeah, it's about 380,000 a year we're gonna recoup.
380,000 a year.
Yep. Truthfully,
Let me ask you this, what are you looking for today? Do you want do you want the board's permission to send this letter to the St. Clair County Medical Control
Yes.
Authority? But, if we were to approve for you to do this, we're not approving the fact that we're going to do this.
well, it says Clay Township Board of Trustees is in full support of the Clay Township Fire Department obtaining ALS transport
Right.
and will greatly enhance the ALS response service to the citizens and guests of our township.
Okay.
So I think you are saying that.
All right, well,
we're gonna
let me
do
say this. I'm gonna need a lot more than 2 little pieces of paper from a company that does billing, who gets paid to do this billing. And I'm gonna need, in order for me to approve this, I'm gonna need a lot more discussion than 4 pieces of paper and 3 days of reading. Because I think it's, I'm not convinced.
Daryl, you did say they do make more than the 35,000, and I asked that same question, and their firefighters to be hired, they must be paramedic, but they must have a minimum of 60 college credits. So there is some more requirements to be hired there.
I mean, currently, our system isn't broken. And I can understand that in the future, if in fact we do not continue to get this SAFER grant, this would help offset some of the costs of keeping those full-time firefighters here. But I'm personally not ready to make a snap decision like this with very, very little information.
What information do you need?
Well, I'd like a legal opinion on it.
legally, we can, it's a by state statute, we can legally provide ambulance service to our residents.
All right, well, all right, I understand you're in favor of this. Let me ask you,
No.
what can go wrong?
Well, I'll tell you, I've hemmed
What
and
can,
hawed.
what can go wrong?
I've hemmed and hawed about this a lot. Right now, we are being our township is being covered by one ambulance, tri-hospital, parked by the high school, parked by the fire department. If we do this, our township is gonna be covered by 2 ambulances, one at each fire department. And if for some reason we get a call, the second ambulance is gonna be backup. If for some reason that ambulance is busy, by law, Tri-Hospital has to back us up. So, I mean, we're increasing the emergency response to our citizens at no cost for at least 2 years, and we'll be putting money back into our fund for 2 years. The way I look at it, Daryl has 2 free swings at it. And when this grant is over with, we plan on reapplying for it, and there's a good chance it'll get refunded again. I look at things, I have a hard time government interfering with private enterprise, and I was flip-flopping back and forth, but Tri-Hospital really isn't a private enterprise, it's a nonprofit, and I have an issue on how they do their business and I don't agree with a lot of their practices. I don't think they're doing, the people that they hire are capable, and they have decent response times, but I just don't like some of their business practices, and I have a problem with that. I think our own guys, we have more control of who shows up. Tri-Hospital, we don't know where these people are from. We don't know, some of them aren't even totally qualified, are they, Daryl? I mean, they
Well,
have
they're
gaps.
qualified.
Before we continue to bash Tri-Hospital, I'd like to hear what could go wrong? That was my original question.
Okay, what could go wrong?
Anything could go wrong.
I know, anything could
We
go wrong.
already treat them.
What-
So
what-
the only other thing that could go wrong is we could crash into somebody and hurt them.
Right, vehicle
Which
maintenance.
Tri-Hospital's in
I
the
mean,
news
these-
for doing.
these ambulances
So they
go
can do
over.
it just as easy as we can.
And I understand.
We don't know what their costs are, though. We don't know what their profit margin is. I think this is being very optimistic.
See, Artie said he's been hemming and hawing. We haven't been able to hem and haw.
Right,
because
I mean,
we
you know,
don't
I've seen this
have-
for 3
This
days.
is what, yeah, and it's not enough to me.
Do any of the other trustees have anything to say about this? Do they have any questions about,
We have discussed this in the past.
Yeah.
with who?
With Florida. And all along you've been against it. So I didn't expect you to be going along with it today.
Okay.
Artie, can I take out?
Not yet.
Can I make a comment, please?
Mike, you can,
You know, there is times where I've been on calls on the island, and if the rescue isn't at the station, next to the mainland station, Tri-Hospital's rig, we have to wait additional time for the patient to be transported, and sometimes minutes could make a difference.
Well, currently, we're ALS certified, so if need be, we can run somebody to River District.
No, we can't.
No, we can't.
Why?
We're not transport.
So we're gonna sit there and let somebody keel
That's
over?
right.
That's how it is now.
Or what? At what? Or what?
At what cost will you buy that?
No, hang on a second. Let me answer the question. Right now, we can treat the person, but we cannot move them.
Okay.
And that's all we're asking, is the ability to put them in our vehicle and take them to the hospital. They refused us. Last year, and we did talk about it, wanted to have at least the ability to transport them until we can hand them off to Tri-Hospital. Back in the day, everyone will remember, we used to do that at the ferry.
Right.
We'd meet them and boom. But we can't do that now by state statute until we become
And we're at
transport.
the mercy of the St. Clair County Medical Control Authority, who has board members from, correct me if I'm wrong, Tri-Hospital?
Mhm. If it's not, correct me if I'm wrong, we can go bypass them if needed and go to the state, am I right, Darrell?
Who passed St. Clair County?
Medical.
We could,
Yeah.
but
But
we're not
the-
looking to do that.
We're not looking to do it, this is the
In-
first step.
To get the license, I have to have a letter of commitment from the township board stating they would like us to do this.
I would like to make a comment. From personal experience as a firefighter many years ago, we did that.
Right.
And particularly here on the island now, not being able to do that is stupid. Because if you have to wait for the ambulance to come, as already said, our people
I
can
mean, we're
bring
talking
them.
about two different things. Having the ability to do it and then doing it full-time are two different things.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Having the ability
He
to
don't
do
live
it
himself.
and doing it full-time are two different things. Why they won't allow us the ability to do it?
Well, it's either one or the other. I
Right.
mean, we have to get this okayed from them in order to be
I
able
know,
to
but the way
do
the
it.
letter's written says that we're going ahead with it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if we have the ability to do it, legally we have to do it, right?
Correct.
So we have to do it. If we can legally transport somebody and we're standing over him and they say, well, we don't feel like doing it, we're gonna let Tri come pick you up, we can't do that. If we have the ability to transport somebody, we're legally bound to transport them.
Okay.
Yeah, for what it's worth, my take on it, Artie and I have tossed this around quite a bit, and, being kind of a doubting Thomas, I know there's no such thing as a free lunch with this grant. However, for 2 years, we get almost $700,000 that we can put into our fire department, provide better service to Harson's Island and the mainland as far as 24-hour coverage in both places, and use it as a 2-year test to see if there is a downside to this whole thing.
2 free swings.
And where we're being funded to do it anyway. So Artie and I know that there could be considerations down the line where at the end of this thing, maybe we don't want it, maybe there are some issues with, what do you do to the full-time people that you have hired and all this other stuff. But we're willing to take that small chance in order to see if we could make it a profit center, if we could use it to help fund our fire department and provide better services to everybody. I mean, that's what we're kind of in business to do. But, I mean, everybody's
One of the
entitled to
things that we
opinion.
need to remember though too is this $691,000 grant isn't fully funding. We got money coming out of pocket
Very little.
for these full-time employees that we're hiring.
Very little.
Well, very little and is money out of pocket.
The benefits
Oh,
by far
Can I
outweigh
ask
the
what the money out
costs.
of pocket is for the full-timers?
Well, you even told us that it's going, we're going to have additional costs because we're going to provide them with health care.
That's in the grant.
That's in the grant.
Okay, but you said the, what do you call the not the
Or
unemployment?
the,
The cost would be to cover their wages if they're on vacation.
Yes, if
Some
we give them a
somebody
week's
else to cover
vacation
that.
and a week's sick time, we have to backfill with somebody.
That's our cost for vacation time when they're off. And we'll be backfilling it with someone making $10 an hour with no benefits.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's glad that I'm asking these questions
Well,
instead of just
No, that's
rubber
good.
stamping something, because to be honest with you, I wish I would have had information about this earlier. And I wish I had more information.
well, but you've had the opportunity to ask all these questions, so that's good.
I'm not satisfied.
Tom, you've always had the opportunity to call me or come to the station, and you never have over how many years now?
I don't feel welcome. But regardless, a couple of days looking at a big decision like this, man,
We've had that discussion before.
this has been a-
Thank you for your opinion.
Yep.
I've got 24 years of doing this, and you're, what, at 4? Good job.
7, I think,
Okay,
and I don't wanna get into a
so I'll make a
pissing match.
motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize Artie Bryson to send this letter to authorize the Clay Township Fire Department to provide advanced life support transport services in Clay Township, to provide this to the, the St. Clair County?
Medical Control Board.
Medical Control Board,
I'll support
Control
it.
Authority.
I'll support it.
Got lots of support
Okay, we
down
have
here.
motion and support. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Oh, John Horvath,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Karen Straffen,
No,
Tom Fetter,
Nope,
Tom Kruger,
Yep.
Artie Bryson,
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
Okay, motion carries. Moving right along, we have our resolution for a special assessment for the village of Clay Township Police.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 2015-026, to approve the special assessment millage for the Clay Township Police in the amount of 4.3500 mils.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Karen Straffen,
yes,
Tom Fetter,
yes.
Tom Kruger,
Yes.
Artie Bryson,
Sure.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John Horvath,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 8 on the new business, we have the resolution 2015-27 special assessment for Clay Township Fire.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2015-027 for special assessment Clay Township Fire District. What are the mills?
1.6250 mils.
At 1.625
6250 mils.
250 mils.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Karen Straffen,
yes,
Tom Fetter,
Yes.
Tom Kruger,
Yes.
Artie Bryson,
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John Horvath,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 9, rolling right along. Resolution 2015-28 special assessment for garbage and refuse curbside collection and recycling.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2015-028 for the special assessment levy on the garbage and refuse curbside recycling and collection in the amount of $172 per stop, per parcel, per house, whatever, on the mainland and Harson's Island, $137 per stop on Russell Island, and $120 on the remaining properties that we term the out island parcels.
support.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. I just want to be clear, it's not per parcel, it's some parcels
Per
can
stop.
have 2 residents,
What do
so.
they call it, residence or stop or?
Dwellings. So- Okay, we have motion and support.
can I say something?
Yup, it's
It
discussion.
says, future special assessment, this is for the out parcel, not to be raised more than $120 per year. Shouldn't it be raised, or shouldn't it be not raised to more than 120? Because you're saying that this can raise it an additional $120.
When we redid the,
Yeah.
well, no, when we did the, we can raise this up to $185 per resident without doing the public meetings, remember? And at that time, we left the out islands at 120.
Exactly, but this
She's
says,
talking semantics.
future
Oh, okay.
special assessment not to be raised more than $120.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Not to be raised.
So you're saying they're 120, yeah.
How about not to be raised to more
More
than?
than, right.
So we'll put another 2 in there, that should do it.
Exactly. Okay.
Got
Got
that,
that,
Cindy?
Cindy?
Add two.
Add 2.
Add 2, Brute.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Tom Fetter,
Yes.
Tom Kruger,
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John Harvath,
Yes,
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Karen Stratton, yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next on the agenda, I want to get the board's feel before we go too far down the road, and if the board doesn't want me to, tell me so, about the golf cart ordinance. Basically, we did find a township with an old golf cart ordinance, which really isn't a legit ordinance. They kind of did it under the radar. And under Public Act 491 of 2014, we're actually going to be the first municipality that I know of to do this. And everyone's kind of watching. And essentially, I want to read how the ordinance will be drafted, and if anyone has any problems, I'd rather hear it now before we incur any attorney fees for me to give them the order to craft this ordinance. Basically, the framework will be, a person shall not operate a golf cart on any street unless he or she is at least 16 years old and licensed to operate a motor vehicle. The operator of the golf cart shall comply with signal requirements of this section 648 and apply to operational of the vehicle. They gotta follow the same road signs. A person operating a golf cart on a roadway shall ride as near to the right side of the roadway as practical, exercising care when passing a standing vehicle or one proceeding in the same direction. Persons shall not operate a golf cart on a state trunk line highway. But basically you can cross it from one side to the other. Where a usable design path for golf cart is provided adjacent to the highway or street, a person operating a golf cart by local ordinance may be required to use the path. Let's see, a person operating a golf cart shall not pass between lines of traffic, but may pass on the left of a traffic moving in his or her direction in the case of a two-way street, or on the left side, or on the left or right of the traffic in case it's a one-way street in an unoccupied lane. Golf carts shall not be operated on sidewalks constructed for use of pedestrians. Golf carts shall be operated at a speed not to exceed 15 miles an hour and shall not be operated on a highway or street with a speed limit of more than 30 miles an hour except to cross a highway or street. A golf cart shall not be operated on streets of a city, village, or township during the period of a half hour before sunset to a half hour after sunrise. A person operating a golf cart or who is a passenger of a golf cart is not required to wear a crash helmet. This section does not apply to a police officer in performance of his or her official duties. A golf cart operated on a street, village, or city or township under this section is not required to be registered under this act for purpose of section 3101 of the Insurance Code of 1956. As used in this section, a golf cart means a vehicle designed for transportation while playing the game of golf. A golf cart is not required to meet the vehicle safety requirements of a low-speed vehicle for approval of this section. So that's it in a nutshell. I did give everyone the actual Public Act 491, and also there was two other public acts, one basically waiving the right or the requirement for insurance of golf carts, and another one that a golf cart, or the little, what do they call the, battery operated wheelchairs is also follow under these ordinance. Right now, you're not legal for a battery operated wheelchair to go on the side of the road too. So basically, roads with 30 mile an hour, at least 30 miles, or not over 30 mile an hour speed limit, they'll be allowed on, not M154 or M29. A little feedback from the board.
Artie, what about the golf carts that can carry 4 or 6 passengers? Are they considered golf carts?
Yeah. Some of them are actually get street legal. Once they become street legal with a license, it's a slow-moving vehicle.
You know, this picture you gave us here,
Pardon?
that doesn't look like a golf cart to me.
Yeah.
It looks like a gator or something with the tires the way they are and the headlights and stuff.
Right. John?
I went to a funeral the other day, a few days back in Marine City, and there was a 4-wheeler parked right at the curb. And I made comment to my wife. So about 2 days later, we had to take my father-in-law to the hospital in Port Huron. We counted 4 golf carts right downtown Port Huron. And as we're coming out, Donna says to me, "There's a golf cart right on the sidewalk."
Yep, against the law.
You know what it says? Port Huron Police.
Go figure.
So I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna be very controversial, this thing.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it to the board.
One thing, Artie, some of the gentlemen came to the meeting, they had a problem with where they're parking. Would that be addressed in here?
I don't know if no parking pertains to golf carts or not. I could get that answer, but before we turn it into ordinance, I probably have an answer for that. Well, actually, it says they have to maintain or operate under the same laws as a vehicle.
Precedents.
So I would
That's what
say
you're gonna
yes.
do.
No parking on the side of the road is no parking for a golf cart also.
We don't have registration, so
They don't have registration.
I would
Now,
have to go.
right. Now, one aspect that we as a board would have to decide, do we want to register these in a township and get a sticker they put on the side? Most of the communities down in Florida, Arizona, they charge $10, $20 for a 2-3 year sticker. And I asked them where that money goes to. Some said it goes to Parks and Rec, some said it goes to the police. The reason they do that is if they find a 12-year-old kid riding down the road, you know, they'll have a sticker with a number on it, and they can track the owner of the golf cart easier. And the owner of the golf cart gets the ticket. Do we as a township want to require everyone come in and get a sticker?
Yes.
You know, yes, no, maybe. That's something that we don't have to do right away either. But that's going to be a decision for the board too. At public comments. So, does this framework so far sound okay? I mean, this is what we can do give within the state. We can't allow them on a road with 45 mile an hour speed limit. The state doesn't allow us
Would it
to.
be the same as the ORV ordinance?
Would it what?
The roads that they're not allowed on, I mean, they're.
No, they
Are
gotta.
they allowed on the state highway?
No.
Oh, they won't?
No, they're not allowed on state, they're only allowed on roads with speed limits of not more than 30 miles an hour.
Okay.
Artie, this seems to take care of the objections that the people had, I believe.
Right.
I would be interested in hearing from them later on in public comments.
Well, when we do an ordinance, we're gonna have a public hearing on it also.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that the board is behind this before I go forward. And I want to instruct the board too. The St. Clair County can trump us. If we pass this, they have the ability to trump us and say, no, we're not gonna allow you to pass this ordinance. I sent this to the county commissioners, and I sent it to Buckley from the sheriff's department, and the chairman of their health and safety board. And I sent it to them about 3 weeks ago, and they have not responded to me one way or another. Because I told them I don't want to put a lot of work into this going forward if they're just gonna trump us and say, no, you can't do that. So,
Chief, do golf carts fall under the vehicle the code sections for drunk driving and all that other stuff?
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
So we don't have to include that in this ordinance,
it is.
that we reference to the section of the
Two.
MCL? Okay.
Yeah, the operator of golf
You can get arrested, drunk driving a
lawnmower.
lawnmower. It's happened.
That would be dirty cool.
I seen the lines of my yard.
Some of the discussion that was brought up last time when we were working on the ORV ordinance, or the URV ordinance, was the fact that somebody had said that the state was now issuing ORV stickers for golf carts.
Yeah,
Do we know anything about that?
no, I couldn't find anything about it. And like I say, this was actually passed in December.
Well, somebody could have got one from the state and put it on it.
Right.
If they wanted to, I mean, you don't have to like register your numbers with them, they just send you a sticker.
Right.
And you pay them the money.
Yeah, this was actually passed the last day of the Senate, or both the House and the Senate, in last year's state legislation. So is everyone okay with this framework?
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted kind of a general consensus, we don't need to make a motion.
Yep.
Okay. And
Go
the same.
forward. Go
What's
forward.
that?
Go forward.
Okay, press on, young
Press
man.
on.
See what I was called an old man on Facebook?
So it looks like the county board of commissioners has to hold a hearing.
Yes.
Which I'm sure will be notified.
Next thing is a discussion amending the peddler's ordinance. I didn't have time to get this rewritten for this meeting, but I wanted to have a little discussion on it. It's been kind of outdated. I don't have my cover sheet on here. But, yeah, let me steal that. Yeah, I must have. They, all of a sudden, this past spring, when was it, winter or spring? No, spring.
Spring.
Someone says, hey, what do we do for our peddler's ordinance? I don't know, let's pull the ordinance out. And we had a hard time following our old ordinance. And why weren't we asked this before? Why did this come up? Well, someone in the office was just telling people, you don't need a peddler's ordinance or a peddler's permit. And so they would walk out the door. And now this ordinance needs to be adjusted. And I think we do need to require people to get a peddler's permit. I have a hard time allowing people going door to door unless we have the ability to check them out beforehand. We need to change this, I believe. And what I'm recommending, I did a poll of what other communities are doing in the area. It was on the second sheet of the spreadsheet. But I am recommending, we'll do $100 fees, that's what we've been charging for 1 year. If they have a group of people, each additional person will be $10 because we're going to give them a ID badge. They have to apply in a week in advance so we have the time to do a criminal record check, a background check. We want to be able to take their vehicle and insurance information or driver's information, issue a Clay Township ID card with a date on it for when how long it's good for. have a signed agreement that they agree to all the terms, with the name of their business, or organization info, description of goods that they're selling and where it's manufactured or stored. And if they're selling food, I want a certificate of health from their health department. Got all these guys selling steaks out of freezers in the trucks and everything. Don't buy it. So, and I want to nail down some hours of operations that we allow them to go door to door. And each applicant, the police department, and our own office will review and approve the applications. And the reason I put this on here, because the next thing on the agenda is to purchase an ID badge printer. And I don't want to purchase this thing unless the board, because this is how we're going to pay for it, it's from our peddler's permit.
Artie, is there any way that we can downsize this 10-page document?
Yeah, we're going to work
I
on
mean,
it.
but that one of the things the attorney was gonna do?
Well, I haven't approached the attorney on this. I just want to get the framework.
I mean, that's 8 by 13, 10 pages.
Yep,
Well, that's the original one, and then that's the two amendments.
that's the original one with 2 amendments.
I know, because I stayed absent on that one.
Yeah, you missed that day, John.
No, because I was so far against it.
But I just want to make sure, in the past, we required fingerprints, but you know what? Fingerprints don't do it, they don't do us any good. Am I right, chief? And that's why I'd rather do the criminal investigation and have photo IDs and ID badges on these people. This will also apply to the fireworks guys, and there's a lot of vendors that this would fall under. The Swans guy, ice cream trucks, we got a couple ice cream trucks going across, selling ice cream in the parks. I think we need to know who these people are personally.
Ernie,
Yeah.
would that include like the high schoolers when they sell those cards for the football team or whatever? Would those have to have?
I would put in, that's a good question. I'd put in here I'd like to give them an ID, but we can waive the permit, the fee.
Okay, you know how they used to have that card and they'd come and sell it
Right,
everywhere
sure.
for $10?
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of ID cards, because all the kids, all football players sell them.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I think you could put an exemption in the ordinance.
For,
a high-
If they have their high school ID.
Yeah. high
Yeah.
schoolers, you could put an exemption.
yeah, well, that's a good question, though. Bring that up.
And what about vendors at the farmer's market?
They're not going door to door.
Okay, so you only want it for people going door to door.
Right. So is everyone okay with the framework, so I can start working on that? I don't want to get it all written up and drafted and say, hey, what about this?
As long as you reduce it.
And we'll make it so John doesn't have to read as many pages. Hopefully.
Forge ahead.
Okay, everyone say forge ahead, Arnie? Okay. Last thing on the agenda, purchase ID badge printer and extra ribbon. We did some checking around. The cheapest place was on eBay, believe it or not, by about $100. And what my intention of doing it is the general fund will purchase this under, it would be capital outlays under 5,000. And we keep it in dispatch because they're open 24/7. And the police are gonna use this. All the boards are gonna be, get ID badges. And the one that we're buying, you can print on both sides, which is required for the police officers anyhow.
How much is it gonna be?
It's gonna be $13.95 plus
69.
$69 for extra ribbon, and
It's free shipping.
with free shipping.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Magic Card Enduro Plus dual-sided printer package at a total cost of $1,464.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion?
Yes, Artie, when I was on ZBA, I had a ID that the fire department printed up, and it was specifically, it was not signed at the time that I first got it. And then Sid Brown said that it has to be signed legally, but who will sign it for us?
I would say either the clerk or myself.
Okay, just so that makes it legal.
Right. If we do 15 peddler permit, it pays for the printer. Any more discussion?
I just have a question. You said that you or Cindy will sign it. But says it's gonna be kept at the dispatch center, so do they have to go there and then come?
Sign the rights.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, electronically.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That's it for new business. God, I've been talking a lot.
I want to talk to you about that later.
Yeah. Public comments. Anyone want to make any public comments or anything you wish? It's time you can come on up and the podium over there, state your name and address and spell it for our clerk, Brian. Yeah. Okay, well, you can come up so they can see you and. No. Oh.
Hi, I'm Tom Pitek, live in Flats. I'm not gonna bore you about the shoddy road deal, the gravel I had to sweep up out of my driveway, 2 wheelbarrows, the holes that are left open from the guardrail, a guardrail that sticks 1.5 feet in my driveway. But I do wanna address my problem now with this raft off and trespassers on my property. Not last week, I had all kinds of problems. This week I had problems. It's becoming altercations, physical altercations. Guys wanna beat me up and everything. Yesterday, I had 2 gangbangers with their girlfriends come across my property, and I said, "What are you guys doing? This is private property." The guy says, "What are you messing with me for? I'm just getting out of the water." I said, "I'm messing you because you're trespassing on my property." He says, "Don't mess with me, man, I'll throw down on you." I said, "Throw down?" He said, "Yeah, I'll mess you up." I said, "Oh, you want to fight?"
I'll put my money on you.
I told him, I said, "Take a swing at me. I'd love to swing at me." Well, we got in a big argument. Luckily, my neighbors, I don't want to say who it was, sent her boyfriend over with 2 other guys. They got in an argument with them. I calmed them both down, each side. I thought everything was solved. They were going to their car, which was illegally parked. Like Saturday at the raft off, there was 30 cars illegally parked in the raft off. This weekend, there was 1 in front of my house. Well, by the time I went in the house, got upstairs, looked out the window, they were fist fighting. One of the gangbangers sucker punched my friend's buddy, and he shouldn't have did that because they kind of plummeted his head. So we called the police come, pulled them over. They weren't drunk, they weren't high, but, got into an altercation. They threatened me during the raft off. I probably had 50 trespassers right across my property. I wasn't there. My neighbor called me and told me. I got back, coming from up north a day early, got there Saturday night, and I probably had to chase 30 people off my property. I'm sitting on my picnic table, right in front of the canal. Here comes a boat with 20 people. They look right at me, they're 30 feet away. They get on my dock and they're unloading people. I said, what are you doing? Oh, we want to get off. I said, not here, go somewhere else. And that's the respect they have for people's property. And I'm not gonna put up with it. I called the police last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. There wasn't much help they could do. The officer told me, well, it's the raft off. I said, I don't care if it's the raft off. Start issuing tickets. Set up a sobriety test above the flats and check who's driving out. Because it isn't a flats problem, it's all your problem. Because they're driving past your house. They might run off the road and hit you walking, or your grandson crossing downtown and run over a grandson or a granddaughter. It's not just my problem in the flats. They did it at the turnaround, they're not doing it by my house, I'll tell you right now. Because yeah, John, he's laughing.
No, I know.
You know what I told the police officer?
I have a cure for it.
I told the police officer, well, what would you do if this was your property? He said, well, I'd ask him not to come on my property. And I thought about John. When you see 40 people trespassing on John's property, and John asked him, I know what he'd ask. What gauge you want, right? Yeah. So.
I have a sign that says, this property is protected 3 days a week by shotgun.
Yeah.
And guess what's free?
I even asked the officer, I said, well, what happens if I bring one of my shotguns out and shoot it in the air? He said, well, we'll probably have to arrest you. I told him, I said, you know what? I chased 3 guys off my property. The guy come out of the water. I said, what are you doing? Go back in the water. He said, I'm not going back in that water. I said, yeah, you're going back in that water. And he said, like, blah, blah, blah. I'll you up. I said, you're gonna what? He said, yeah, I'll F you up. Well, it just so happened I had a shovel by the garage. Grabbed the shovel. There's 2 more guys crawling off my dock. I chased all 3 of them off my property. So, what I'm asking you is what's my solution? Because I'm ready to post my property, no trespassing, violators will be hospitalized. I'm serious about it. It's not funny.
I know. I guess we'll get with you and see if we can come up with a solution.
Yeah, you know, if you ask me, and if it's in the situation, okay, yeah, come across. But if they apologize, we're sorry, I said, well, okay, go across, but don't come back, you know. But when they just blatantly just come on my property and tell me to F off, I'm not putting up with it.
I don't blame you.
So,
It's just the way the
I'm asking
society
you for the
is.
solution.
Right. We'll get a hold of you.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, they asked me if I wanted to prosecute them guys. I don't want to prosecute them guys. I don't want to go to court and have to go because 2 gangbangers were stupid.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't prosecute, it leaves the police helpless.
Well,
It does.
I know, but the one guy's head was pretty banged up, so.
Well, maybe you were the solution.
Maybe you should persecute
So-
instead of prosecute.
All right, thank you.
So,
Give her the.
all right.
Thank you.
I'll give you mine.
Anybody else? Okay.
I think the chief perhaps can help you out on this as to the golf carts. They have to be 16 and have a driver's license, is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yep.
Now, years back, and things may have changed, when you had a young driver, you could not have other young drivers as his passengers in the car. You know, it could be a whole car full of young people.
Right, it works just like it does driving a car.
So it will be that then too.
Yes.
So what I saw tonight was like, oh my God, there were 4, maybe one of them might have been 16, and even 2 little ones sitting in the back, so it was 6 on the golf cart.
Right.
Or that type of golf cart.
Yeah.
Okay, and if they're licensed, then they would have to have verification of their insurance too, correct?
They're not required to have insurance under the state public act 491. I would, if I had a golf cart though, I would check with your homeowner's insurance to see if you're covered.
I won't be well, okay, we'll see.
You're not required to have insurance.
Okay, but we were looking at the auto part of it.
Right.
Because some people do license them in.
Right.
Put them on their auto insurance.
Mhm.
And I just didn't know how this would work with that. Okay, that's all.
All right, thank you. Anybody, any other public comments? I'll give it to, pass the mic.
I'd like to ask our fire chief, what's the response time to Harson's Island in case of a fire? I want to ask him.
Do we have?
Depending on the location, I guess.
Well, let's say Browns.
How about 6 minutes, huh?
Yeah, 6,
6
8 minutes.
Yep.
Takes that long to get across the ferry. Don't give me that bull.
We got about a 3-minute delay at Ferry.
Yeah.
You gotta get to here.
Then whatever that.
You gotta get to the ferry, then you got the 3 minute.
I'll give you an example.
I'll give you one when you're done.
Okay. Down on the flats,
Yeah?
Kowalski's. We were 4 minutes behind the island station.
Well, how come it took you 20 minutes to go to that fire on the middle channel that was nothing saved but the foundation?
Because the ferry couldn't find the dock.
Oh, well, we got a problem there, don't we?
It was foggy.
Well, we got a problem. Well, what is it? My house is gonna burn because they can't find the ferry?
But it didn't take 20
Come on,
minutes.
give me some fun.
Well, didn't you hear all the discussion? Wayne, didn't you hear all the discussion? We're trying to man this
Wayne,
station
Wayne, as a matter of fact,
24/7?
as a matter of fact,
What are the
Wayne,
two people gonna do?
Wayne,
What?
the mainland crew was there before the island crew.
The time that someone tells you they call 911, and the time they actually get dispatched is a complete different time period.
He was working that night, he was on scene before the island truck was there, and they came from their
Why you
house.
put the fire out?
By the time we got to the house, our initial size of the house, it was already down to the foundation. By the time we got the call.
At the time it was called to us, the roof was already engulfed in flames.
It had already collapsed when we got there.
So if there's flames
What's
coming,
gonna happen to my house when it catches on fire?
If there's
It's gonna
flame-
collapse before you get there.
if there's
It is
flames,
if no one calls it in. Wayne, you were on the fire department, you understand how that works.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking these questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's 20 minutes of burn time, what are you gonna do to it? What are you gonna do when the roof's already caved in? You're gonna call that safe?
Well, I can give you some incidents when we were at fire department, when I was in the fire department. We put houses out, we were there within 2.5 minutes and put the houses out. They never burned.
I'm glad you guys were that good.
We were.
I'm glad.
Yeah, well, we had firemen. We got 2 firemen on the island.
so who wants to be a fireman out here?
You wanna be a fireman, Artie?
Raise your hand.
Huh?
Any volunteers?
We have 3 that live on the island. I cannot control where they live.
Oh, I didn't say you could. It's a lot better if we got 25 firemen on the island, period.
I agree 100%. That's why we're gonna staff it 24/7.
What are you laughing about, Artie?
I agree with you, but that's why we've had all this discussion to pay people to be at our station, 2 of them, 24/7.
You mean, my house insurance ain't gonna say anything about this, because I know, we don't have fire protection?
You do have fire.
You do have fire protection, you have ISO 6.
But you won't keep it if you don't have the right amount of alcohol.
We do, our response times are excellent. I can give you documents and everything else. So, anybody else? Anybody else? Sure.
My voice is loud enough. My name is Ron Schainbach. I live on the Middle Channel. You know, we've been blessed here in Parsons Island. We got our water back again. But with the high water is a blessing and a curse. Okay? And I guess I would request to the board that if we don't start now And if the water keeps coming up, since we can't control it, we're gonna have property damage because it's gonna breach the seawalls. And it's gonna breach the seawalls on the middle channel, principally from Dickinson Island down to Browns, because the channel's too narrow. And it's already posted by the Coast Guard, but nobody understands Coast Guard, that is a no-wake zone. And the boats this last weekend just got beat the living crap at our docks, because nobody's gonna go out on a pontoon boat on a weekend on that channel, because it's just too rough. And it's too dangerous, quite frankly, because of the speeds that the boats run on the middle channel. So I guess I would ask the board to consider writing to the Coast Guard. If I write, it'll go nowhere. If the board writes and asks the Coast Guard to post, just like they do the buoys, post in the middle channel, that it's a no-wake zone, like they do down at Deckers, we would be much better off. And if we don't start now to control the speed and the wakes, we're gonna have problems in another year, another 2 years if the water keeps coming up. Now, I'd like to see it stay where it's at right now, but there's no guarantee. So that's my request to the board, is to write the Coast Guard, starting next year, if they could please post with the buoys in the middle channel. I'm not against having fun out there, but the channel is just too narrow from Dickinson down to Browns.
Yeah, no, it already is a no wake, but the sheriff patrol really hasn't been monitoring that. I was on the middle channel myself yesterday, and it was very busy.
So no wake for under 26 foot?
It's no wake.
26 foot and over is
It's no wake for 26 and over.
But, you know, let's face it, there's not enough police everywhere to police everything that goes on. You gotta have a little bit of common sense.
Right.
And if it's not posted,
It's education.
people aren't even gonna have the common sense to try to do it. And that's all I'm requesting, is that it gets posted,
Okay.
okay?
All right, thank you. Did you get his name?
Ron. Spell the last name.
Hey, Ron, spell your last name.
SCHOEN, B as in boy, ACH, 4416 Middle Channel.
Thank you, Ron. Anybody else? Any public comments?
I have another question.
Take
Where's
the
the
mic.
dirt gonna go that is out of the canal when they open up the county drain?
For the Crispin Drain, it's an EPA project, and the EPA engineered it to go to John Horvath's farm. Main reason, they wanted it in one confined area because it is gonna be spoils, and he had the only property that was not wetlands that could handle all 25,000 yards.
And can't be sold.
Yeah, he can't sell.
Cannot be sold,
Never.
never.
Okay,
That was kind of like the hitch.
yeah, they're gonna spread it out, and plant it, and go from there.
Well, they're supposed to put trees inside, or
Yeah,
seed it.
Yeah, seed it, that's what he's
That's the
planning.
agreement.
Yep. Any other public comments?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, grab the mic.
Joe Connors, Colin Macklin. You said that they weren't going to do the Brisbane drain to the original map and.
No, the project as a whole is still intact. They had to modify the permits because when they designed it 2 years ago, well, 3 years ago now, there was 2 feet less water. And some of the areas, they're digging the dirt, and they have to set it someplace to de-water a couple times, a couple days. All those places are underwater. And they're looking at a couple different areas to access the drain now. And they're just, they had to modify the permits with the DEQ for the new water levels.
But is it going to go to the same depth as the?
Yes, yeah. Okay, same depth, yep. Anybody else? Was there somebody else?
addressing the no wake sign?
No.
Turn it up, push it
I
up.
don't think so.
There's two buttons on it. Make sure they're both on it.
Addressing the no wake issue. I've been talking to Sergeant Don Berg, St. Clair County Sheriff, getting ready to retire, by the way, so he's been sticking his neck out a little bit. We got 3 no wake signs on the South Channel due to that accident last year. And when we were installing the signs, Don Berg was there in his uniform, and people actually came off plane and slowed down because they saw him on the shoreline. Otherwise, when they're not there, without the police presence, it's not gonna happen. Nobody pays any attention to the no wake signs. He did spend a weekend there pulling people over. He said, Brian, no one has a clue about wake laws. So you need the flashers on the water, pulling people over, and so if you guys wanna lean on the sheriff department a little bit. But they only got one boat patrolling, God only knows how much.
Yep.
Well, you can't have police everywhere,
Right.
but you gotta rely on
A
common
lot
sense.
of it is education.
Yeah.
They gotta you gotta bust them. If people start spending money, then they start paying attention to laws.
You hope that if there's a stop sign, people stop too, so it's the same thing. But if there's no stop sign, people aren't gonna even start, so I'm just saying, put a no wake signs out, put the buoys in the water and hope for the best.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Any public
I got another
comment?
question.
Thanks for coming.
This is your last one.
No, where is that canal gonna go to Bates Highway?
No, it goes, well, the plans are well published. It's gonna go, well, I still call it the Little Green Bridge before the Boys Club by Dave Glowski's house, behind the schoolhouse grill. It wanders underneath the Columbine where the bridge is, goes under the tube at Crispin, and it's gonna go straight back to the DNR to where their pump is on their dikes. And that's where the EPA part of it stops. Now, the DNR has already done most of it, but they're gonna continue that on to the rest of the way.
And they say they're gonna do 4 miles?
It's about 4.4 miles.
Where's the rest of the way? Where does it head?
Well, right up to it goes right up to, basically the marsh. Yeah.
When you pass this golf cart ordinance, or let's say it's for next summer, how is it gonna be spread around the island so you don't get just these kids driving all the golf carts? How are we gonna say, you're 8, you're 9, you're 10, you can't be doing that, and who's gonna enforce that, so word gets around?
It will be, we'll have public notices, and we'll have ordinances. I would hope through that next door neighborhood site and,
It's published in the Voice.
yeah, it's published in the papers, and, it'll be up to the police to enforce it. Right now, it's tough to enforce. Could you imagine what everyone would say if we'd be out there writing every person a ticket with the golf cart?
Why are you allowing them on the island in the first place? They never were before.
That's an issue. I don't think, you got the haves and have-nots, and we're trying to control it rather than banning it.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get killed.
Right?
Where at the post office, I have kids come barreling through where you drop off the mail the wrong way, and they go right on until the front. Someone's gonna get killed there,
Understand, that's why we're doing the ordinance.
but they don't follow it.
Well, we don't have it yet.
I don't think they're gonna follow them when we have to.
It's a start. We can enforce it then.
Although I hope so.
Is to notify everybody, put something in some of the papers, the local papers too, and have them put it in the
Well, it will be published once we do it. We haven't done it yet. So, yeah, grab the mic. So, name and address, please.
It's John Cameron on the South Channel up just above the turn in the road here.
like to know what the township is doing to try and stop the wash from these freezers. I know that you've had trouble with your place, I used to live there, I know all about it. My place is getting washed out. They wait until sundown, and they go by there, we're in the narrowest part of the river. And I can't understand why somebody can't get to these people and they can stop it.
We've had a lot of conversations with Sarnia, Coast Guard Canada, Sarnia, they monitor the speeds. Have you noticed them slowing down the past month?
Some of them.
Yep, so we've had some
The wash does not depend on the speed as much as it does.
Displacement.
How tall.
right, it's the displacement and it's the bow configuration. So the ones with the ball in front will throw a bigger wave.
The Saginaw goes by here, which is one of the older ships. It throws a wash this high in front of my house.
Right. We got higher water, so
Well, it doesn't matter.
they're able to put more material in it.
Then they can go down.
Right. So they have some, not all of them. The past 3-4 weeks, it's been less frequent.
Well, all I know is docks have been washed over.
Yep.
Wave runners have been washed over, support swarms have been washed over. Nobody seems to do anything about it. So I can tell you.
Yeah, we tried. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Let's adjourn. Yeah. Are you buying?
Nope.
Okay.
Love everybody in the bar.
One more motion?
No, you got
Oh, board member comments, I'm sorry. Joanne?
I'm, for the board's information, I'm doing some work with this book, and next week I'll have some stuff in your packet. Have any of you ever seen this book, Policy Matters, Using Board and Administrative Policies to Manage Your Township? And I'm delving into it. I started a long time ago, but now that I'm back on it. So I'll have something in the packet next week, in 2 weeks, next meeting.
John?
The other thing, this dirt war thing that started,
No war.
I did not solicit the EPA to come to my farm.
I know.
Now, I got a text Sunday.
Quiet, hey guys, we still have a meeting going on.
I got a text Sunday because this certain person wasn't notified. Now, I call that Rose at the EPA, yeah. And she said they used a topographical map to determine the locations. And that's why I was chosen.
Yep.
It wasn't the fact that I'm a board member or anything else. It's just that my farm happens to be hired and I was willing to leave the dirt without selling it. And everybody else wants the dirt and wants to sell it. So with all that said, I guess maybe someday, we might get something done.
Right.
I'm still waiting.
Me too.
They don't even have permits.
They're working on it.
I know.
Cindy?
I'm working on getting to heaven. We're about the same speed.
Karen? Tom? You, Tom?
No.
Okay. I'm all set.
Motion to adjourn?
Have a motion to adjourn? All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you much. Thanks everyone for coming.